Hello and welcome to another episode of the AutoTrader Podcast. My name is Wandile Sishi.
I'm George Mienie.
And we have a super interesting episode today. Something I think you might really enjoy. I think a lot of people don't know that you're also a little bit of you don't just like cars, you like transportation in general, right?
Yeah, no, trucks aren't my thing.
Screw the trucks.
Trains aren't my thing.
Yeah.
You know what? I think
Maybe transport's not your thing. Maybe it's just certain types of transports that you like.
Well, I think I like the innovation in transport,
Okay.
or whatever that is. So electric trucks, electric cars, as you know. I like the transformation in electrification, or even just the transition of the technology growth. Yeah. And then I think for me personally goes for anything like technology in computers, phone technology, solar, alternative energy sources.
Yeah.
All of that stuff intrigues me, and I find myself reading a lot about it. So it's not only limited to cars or transport.
Yeah, it's more really just like technology as a
whole,
an overarching sort of.
Yeah, technology to help advance, like being useful to humans.
Yeah.
Because that's what technology is supposed to do. It's supposed
make
to
life easier, right? So make things a little bit better. Make life better.
Make life better, you know. Not even, better, I suppose, has to be, but more efficient. I mean, think about what is the objective? Is to relegate mundane tasks to something that is non-human.
Yeah.
Okay. So processes, repetitive procedures. That's what technology is supposed to do.
So the idea of like robots and AI, then, do you think are you completely for AI?
Yes.
And for like robots,
yeah.
I mean, when I say robots, I mean like in like the movie iRobot, for instance, where it's they've kind of taken over all the kind of the.
I don't know. I mean, I'm no Elon Musk, so I can't predict the future like he does. But
but that's not a future that you're scared of. Like
I just don't know if we can self-destruct.
Yeah,
humans are resilient.
Yeah,
but I do believe that computers, robots, technology is there to automate repetitive tasks. That's what it's there to do. As an example, cars started out. You have to turn a steering wheel. You have to flip a indicator.
You used to have that little thing. Of course,
you got to gear shift, handbrake. Those are repetitive tasks you don't need to do. Yeah. So we've got automatic cars.
E-brakes now instead of
so it's automatic e-brake, as you put it. I don't call it a handbrake anymore. Computers automate a lot of tasks.
Okay, I completely understand. So maybe I pigeonholed you there a little bit, but that's fine.
But I think I know where you're going, and yes, I am a recreational pilot.
Yes.
So I have a pilot's license.
So it was about a month ago I read an article which spoke to flying cars. So I think in America there's a company that just got approved to start testing out one of their flying cars. Obviously we've seen a few of these now over the last few years of this idea of flying cars. But one of the things that kind of struck me with this vehicle was it actually looks like a car.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the concept for a second before
of flying cars.
Of flying cars. I mean, I think this started like in the late 1990s, where people started dabbling with this. I'm not sure. We'd have to look it up, but it's never come to fruition.
Yeah,
there's one or two prototypes that can actually fly,
but they don't look like cars. I think that's my biggest.
No, there's one that does look like a car.
So this is the one I was actually speaking about.
Yeah.
This is the one that just got approved to start testing. And you'll see that essentially it looks like a drone. And there's a gyro. There's like a gyro, like capsule where the people sit inside.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 little propellers where kind of.
Where do the propellers come out?
They don't come out. So the frame of the vehicle is almost like it's. I wouldn't say transparent, but it's like a mesh.
Okay, so it can get airflow.
Exactly that.
Okay.
So the capsule stays in the middle, and then the kind of it moves like a drone ultimately. But when it's a car, it still looks like a car. Whereas these other kind of concepts always had wings. So it's like a plane with just wheels.
Like, what is safer? Propellers like that? Drone type,
like almost like
or wing, or something with wings. What is safer?
I don't know. What would you, from your experience, like a helicopter versus a conventional plane? What would be safer?
Conventional plane. Wings are safer, and the reason wings are safer like that is because if the engine dies,
you don't just fall to the ground.
You don't just fall down. Okay. Now drones, I think, are even worse.
Yeah.
Because you can't operate what's called auto-rotate. So in a helicopter, you're constantly applying power to generate lift. Okay, but if the helicopter's engine or jet engine or piston engine stops, okay, the pilot has apparently a couple of seconds. I'm no helicopter pilot. I'm a fixed wing pilot. Like the pilot has a couple of seconds. Okay, to turn the rotating blades, okay, to reverse its pitch. Okay, because when the helicopter's flying, the pitch is at an angle to generate lift. Okay, by applying power. But if you switch the pitch of those blades, you can make the blades act like a parachute.
Oh, okay.
For lack of a better
still moving,
term.
I'm assuming.
But spinning. That's why you've got a couple of seconds to reverse the pitch, because if the blades slow down enough, you can't get the auto rotate going.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to fall quite far to get those blades to spin. So a helicopter pilot has a couple of seconds to switch the pitch of the blades. And if there's helicopter pilots listening to this, kind of, you can explain it in the comments better.
Yeah. Whereas like a drone does not have that option.
Drone does not have that. If one of those motors go, what is the likelihood of that drone falling to the ground?
I mean, I know that I don't think you can change the pitch of the.
You can't.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a drone where you can change the pitch of the blades.
So you're just falling at 9 meters per second, and you're just falling.
You're just falling. You know. So I'd say the safest vehicle.
Yeah.
In the air is an airplane with wings, because it can glide. Okay?
In a scenario of kind of an emergency scenario.
Yes, it can glide. Second safest is a helicopter with spinning blades. Why? Auto rotate.
Yeah. Okay, that's really interesting.
And then the third safest is probably drone.
So that's, I think this it's called Alef. So they don't have that. It's not like wings.
Yes,
it's kind of like this. You know, almost like a drone sort of setup.
It's vertical takeoff.
But, you know, they've been approved, and if you have, you know, it's going to cost about 3.6 million rand.
Rand or dollars?
Rand. To purchase. And it looks like they kind of got approved. I mean, right now, they have pre-orders worth about 14 billion. So there's a lot of interest for it. But I'm curious to see, once they start testing, exactly how.
I just don't know about this. And the reason I say that is because you know, in order to propel a car forward, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to overcome gravity. You just have to overcome rolling resistance.
Yeah.
In order to propel a car upwards, you have to overcome gravity. Gravity is a serious thing. Gravity, you know, otherwise we'd all fall off the planet.
Yeah.
So, and now you have to constantly overcome gravity. I just don't know if we have the battery.
And this car is going to be like electric. So, I mean, the range is not going to be great. I can only assume that it's not going to get you super far.
Exactly.
In terms of, you know, both traveling as a car. And,
so besides a recreational toy, how far can this thing really take you before you have to charge it? And how long does it take to charge an electric car's battery now?
Yeah.
Long. It's I don't know. I mean, good luck. I hope they win.
The concept of flying cars, though, is this something that you are for, against?
Oh no, absolutely for. You know, I just don't know if right now it's practical.
So there are a few of these. Okay, in terms of a flying car, do you think the first step is getting them to a point where they are a taxi, or for like recreational use? Like, what do you think the market's going to be for
a flying car?
Yeah, because that's where we're going. That's the future of one of the I guess one of the avenues of the future of mobility is going to become this, air taxis essentially.
Yeah, I mean, short haul transport between two locations, maybe.
You've seen Amazon now; they start delivering with drones.
That's only worked in one city, or one place. It really hasn't worked at all.
Yeah.
You don't.
Instead of being like a truck, it's never going to be like a delivery man.
And I think it's got to do with weight and of overcoming the force of gravity. It takes an immense amount of energy to overcome the force of gravity. It's constantly pulling you to the ground.
Yeah.
So our battery technology, I think, has to advance a lot before a flying drone, particularly a car now that has to have wheels, extra weight, all that stuff before it can really, I think, prove to be a commercial success.
I think it's a gimmick. I'm just gonna go out and say it out right now.
Here I'm arguing all of the logical points, and you're just like, it's a gimmick.
Here's my thing. I think it's important to not kind of drive the conversation. I think it's important to be a little bit, hear where it goes. And I do think that flying cars right now is not a place where it's mobility. I think you kind of alluded to it earlier. I think it is going to be very recreational until we get to a point where it's...
Well, I'm a recreational pilot, and it's fun to fly, but it's not a mode of transport. I personally, I think what Elon Musk is doing in terms of tunneling, high-speed trains, or even high-speed carts that you can put your car on and
this kind of
and zip somewhere.
Train,
Because what's the point of transport? Getting from A to B.
A to B, yeah.
And you've got to be able to do that at scale. So mass transport, currently Boeings and Airbuses, long haul. That might become rockets if Elon Musk gets his way. You can get anywhere in the world in 30 minutes. And then it's just about the last mile. Okay, so now...
How does that work? You just kind of get in rockets, wait for the kind of the world to rotate, and then you...
No, you don't wait for the world to rotate.
How would you get there in 30 minutes? Or do you literally just rocket there?
Yeah, so his idea is to take the Starship, the Starship that they're developing, is to use the Starship as a vehicle to get out of the atmosphere or low Earth orbit, somewhere around there, and then to land vertically in another city somewhere or another continent. And you can get anywhere within 30 minutes.
Starship's the biggest rockets, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you look at the trajectory from anywhere on the planet, you can get to anywhere else on the planet within 30 minutes.
Wow.
Just by going out of the Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah.
And yes, I suppose part of it is waiting for the Earth to rotate. But I don't think that's the major principle.
Yeah, of course. So
that'll be long haul travel in the future. Then last mile, which is what we're talking about, like short haul travel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're stuck with
cars,
vehicles
that are still grounded.
that are grounded for a long time.
Yeah, it works.
Electric vehicles. That's
100 years of innovation and testing, whereas these things are just coming out.
Well, I just Googled it now, and in the late 1800s, American immigrant Gustav Whitehead designed an aircraft with wheels. Okay, so that's obviously the aircraft.
Yeah.
Late 20th century, after 7 designs, the Convair car.
Convair car.
Yes, Convair car. Had flown. None enjoyed commercial success. This was in 1949.
So this is if you please Google this thing, it looks like a
car with wings on it. Yeah. That's the most efficient way to get in the sky, is wings.
Yeah, 100%.
So 1940s, that's when this flying car, this idea like took to the sky for the first time. That was 70 years ago, and we haven't commercialized it.
Look, I used to watch the Jetsons growing up, and that's where my mind of this idea of flying car started. And I think we're gonna get there eventually, but I don't think it's gonna be the way we think. I don't think it will be what it looks like in our heads right now.
Mass is our problem. Mass and overcoming the force of gravity. That's our problem.
Yeah. No,
we don't have energy density in batteries enough. The energy density is too low still to really do a 700-kilometer trip from Johannesburg to Durban.
Yeah.
Without wings.
I mean, the reason why planes work is because of there's so many people on it that it becomes viable.
Efficient. Yes. And you're gliding a lot of the way. You're using the air to overcome the force of gravity.
Yeah. 100%.
Whereas vertical takeoff, you've got to constantly push yourself into the air. There's no gliding. A lot of energy there.
Let's see what happens with the guys. I hope it does well. I hope it's safe, one, and let's see if the tests work.
I mean, good luck to them. I mean, I'm not an expert in that field, but I think it's a long time before that becomes commercialized.
We'll keep an eye out. But before I leave you, George, did you watch the Belgian Grand Prix?
I did indeed.
And your thoughts, please, because I mean, I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts on the events that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's a procession.
Yeah.
What stuns me though is that Verstappen is beating the pants off his teammate Perez, which tells me that there's skill there and not just the car.
Is there that much skill though? I mean, Perez is not a bad driver, and Max. I saw this video.
Do you think Perez is just the wrong teammate, the wrong person in the Red Bull?
Potentially. I mean, we saw what happened when it was Max and Ricciardo. I mean, this was years ago, and Max was not as good as a driver as he was now. But I mean, with Danny, it was neck and neck. I think there's a lot of mental games that happen with Formula One, and Max is living rent free in Perez's head. To the point where I think he's scared.
Did you think about that for a second?
Max is living rent free. He's scared. I think he's scared. Whereas Daniel Ricciardo was ready to lose his seat.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there is a bit of an air of arrogance in Verstappen.
It's crazy. The more arrogance he gets, the more I like him.
He's got this air of overconfidence. I'd be curious to see how that attitude and demeanor changes the day he loses the first race, because it's coming. Because when he loses the first race, I wonder if the old immature Verstappen's going to come out. Because right now he's confident because he keeps winning.
I saw this video.
Good for him.
I saw this video in Spa actually, where I think it was like a 20-second gap where you see. It was just a flyby. This guy was just looking at the, kind of one scene, and you see Max go past, and it took so long for the rest of the kind of the field to catch up. And when you're watching on TV, you don't really realize
it. Yeah,
just how big 20 seconds is, but it's massive.
No, 20 seconds is massive.
Yeah.
But what was interesting was in the Belgium Grand Prix was Verstappen had to be told a number of times,
calm down,
just do what I say.
Yeah.
So is Verstappen becoming a little bit of a loose cannon in that team? I want to build the gap. Just chill. Save your tires.
Yeah, it's gonna something's gonna fall off. Something's gonna.
I mean, you got to work as a team, and the team's obviously seeing that the tires are degrading. Verstappen's in the car. Yes, he can feel the tires, but they've got data that he doesn't have.
Yeah, for sure.
They've got to work together. So it was interesting that they had to tell him no. And then Lewis got the fastest lap.
Lewis got the fastest lap, and I think that was petty of him. I think he was just trying to prove a point.
No, good for him. He got one extra point.
100%. But I think he's...
I wouldn't take that away from him.
Not just him. I think Mercedes is trying to prove a point that, you don't really... You think you had the fastest car, but we're still coming. And we have 3 weeks now until the next race.
What's very disappointing is Aston Martin.
Yeah.
It's like,
what happened?
I don't know what happened. Like they've gone. I think the rest of the field has moved forward and they've stood still.
Yeah,
they haven't gone backwards. They've just stood still and they appear to have gone backwards because everyone else has gone forwards.
Such a shame. I mean, they were the closest contenders at one point, and
but I feel for Hamilton in the Belgian Grand Prix. I really do. I feel for him. Most of all, I feel for Leclerc.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he, again, good car, a team that just without a leader. Going on,
that seems a mess. Yeah.
It's you can see it's just a little bit of a shambles.
You see what happens. Halfway through the season, and I still think a lot's going to happen.
But I felt for Lando when he crashed in the. Was it in qualifying or the practice?
Yeah, I think it was in the sprint.
In the sprint, was it the sprint race? No, it was the qualifying for the sprint.
Yeah,
that he crashed out, and I think that was just terrible.
It happens.
Terrible.
It happens. Well, that's pretty much all the time I have with you, George. Thank you again.
Thank you, Wandile Sishi.
See you next week.
Yep.
Search AutoTrader.